Do you get completely overwhelmed with tech? Like whenever you're trying to research what equipment you need, like your brain just shuts down. Are you trying to enter into the world of content creation, but you have absolutely no idea what equipment you actually need or what price points are available? Whether you're running more business meetings at home, or you're looking to get into streaming or coaching, or perhaps you are starting your adventure with video content creation altogether, or maybe you just want to make your Zoom calls more crispy. Whatever it is for you, I'm going to help you out. Recently, I've had so many people come and ask me how they can get themselves set up to work from home, either because they're trying to start a new side hustle, or maybe due to illness or different circumstances, they are having to work mainly from home now. And let's be honest, there is such a huge variety of equipment out there, and sometimes we don't know what's actually good and what's not, or what we actually need. This is going to be a really simple video for you to understand what you can get for the price point you are comfortable with. Now, I've done all the hard work for you guys, and I put all the links down below from Amazon. And the reason why they're all from Amazon is because I personally buy all my tech, literally all of it, from Amazon, and I love them for it because I always get an amazing deal. And also you can take advantage of things like Prime Day, which is happening soon as of recording this video, or Black Friday, or any of the other times of the year that they have amazing deals on tech. And they actually have, if you pay attention, lightning deals regularly. If you would like to support me, then clicking on my affiliate links is a fantastic way to do so, and I would appreciate it very much. But let's talk about lights. Good lighting will literally make or break a video. Whether you are creating a video, or you're streaming, or you're doing coaching calls, or you're doing anything on Zoom, people will literally click off, even if it's a meeting, if your lighting is janky. Like, I've definitely done that. I recall actually being on a Zoom call, and I remember clicking off because the person who was leading it, their light was so bright and they were so overexposed, it was hurting my eyes, and I just left. People will actually do that, which is why it is so important to make sure the lighting is flattering and it's also easy for the audience to look at. So the first recommendation that I have for lights comes from Neewer, and you'll find actually that a lot of the lighting that I use is Neewer, and this is their desktop mounted LED lights. Now, these Neewer panel lights are a great middle of the road purchase, and you get 2 lights in the kit as well as a remote, which is really, really helpful. They are dimmable. You can change how bright the light is and how exposed you are. For those of you who don't really know what that means, when someone is overexposed, it's extremely bright. I wonder if actually I can show you guys what that would look like on here. Hold on, I'm gonna overexpose myself. That sounds kind of rude, but it's not. So this would be an example of me being overexposed, okay? It's not nice to look at. It's not flattering for me, and it's certainly not easy for the audience to look at. It looks like you're looking into a flashbang. So it's really important when you're purchasing lights that there is a feature for you to dim the lights or brighten them up. So no matter where you are, if you're in a room that is very well lit, so you actually don't need a lot of light, you can make the light really soft. Or if you're in a dark room, you can actually pump the lights up a bit more to actually see you. So when I actually bought these particular lights, I actually have them mounted on my desk right now. I was extremely shocked at how high quality these lights are, because I'll be honest, I just bought them as an extra for when I streamed or when I was doing any Zoom calls, just to have a little bit of extra light instead of having to set all my studio lights up, which is what I was actually doing. If you are just starting out, these could be an excellent main source of light for your videos, your trainings, whatever you're going to use them for. They are really good. And they are especially great if you're working in a small space, because you can fit them onto your actual desk. Like, you don't have to set up tripods and get a lot of extra room. They're very, very flat. They're very thin. So like, you don't need a lot of room like around them. Now, if you are looking for a smaller light option, Neewer do also another pack of 2 mini lights, which are dimmable, and they are powered by USB, so you plug them straight into your computer or laptop. Now, they don't come with the desk mount as the other lights do, so they do come on 2 tripods, but they are a lot smaller. Now, if you are interested in mounting these 2 smaller lights onto your desk, you can get from Neewer a C-clamp desk mount, which I will link down below. You can very easily attach the head of those lights onto that to actually like mount onto your desk. Now, would I recommend these on their own? If someone was looking to invest in good lighting, no, I wouldn't recommend just using these. These could be a great like add-in light, but if you are really trying to save on costs, they are cheaper because they are smaller. They are about 5 inches, whereas the lights I was describing before are about 15 inches wide, but they are an option. Now, if you're looking for actual studio style lights, there is a more advanced option, and that is the Neewer Bicolor 660 LED lights. I actually am using these lights right now, and they are phenomenal. And if you can actually get these on a deal, which I did, especially if it's Prime Day or Black Friday, like these can be a steal. And if you can get them on a deal, I think they work out not that much more than the very first lights I was describing that you can mount on your desk. Now with these lights, you get 2 lights on tripods. Yes, they do require a little bit more room. They also come with barn doors that you can attach on the lights to direct the light source. You can also buy extra soft boxes, which I bought for these that were made for these lights, and they are amazing. I would highly recommend getting these because it makes the light not as harsh. It makes it very soft and very flattering, which is what you want because again, you don't want something to be super overexposed or very harsh. These, you can change the warmth of them. So you can have either a very warm, like orangey light, or you can go to the other extreme and have a very cool white lights. Now you would change these depending on the environment you're in or how you actually look. Like, do you have a lot of warmth in your skin, or do you have a lot of coolness or white in your skin? Like, you can change the light to be the most flattering for you and for your environment, which is why I love these so much. They are really professional. You can also use these for photography as well, which I do too. And they're really not that much more compared to the Neewer desktop lights that I first recommended. Now, you may be asking, Corey, why wasn't ring lights like the first option? Isn't that what everyone uses now? Ring lights used to be super popular a few years ago, and they are still very much widely used, especially if you're using your phone or a webcam to record. But the reason why I like LED panel lights, like the flatter lights, compared to like a big ring light, is that especially if you're working with 2 lights, you can create a lot of light and shadow on your face. So your face just isn't blasted with like a beam of light. You can actually move the lights around you to create the most flattering look. Coming from someone who used to only solely use a ring light, I much prefer having like at least 2 lights, especially if you look at my old content. I was regularly like blasting my face with like just bright lights. But if your preference is to use a ring light, then it is a fantastic way for you to start or at least level up your lighting game. The only thing I would ask is that you make sure that the ring light is a decent quality and it is dimmable, which means you can change the brightness of it. Again, when you have a video or you're doing a meeting or a training, where you're overexposed, it makes it incredibly hard for the audience to look at you. And again, it's not very flattering. If you are choosing to use a ring light, and if you are, that's great, then make sure that either your phone or your camera or your webcam is in the middle of the light. Now, just like with the LED panel lights, there are different price points available for ring lights as well. Now, the reason why I personally recommend the Neewer brand is because I've used Neewer lights for so many years, and I've never been disappointed with the quality or the longevity of the product. And actually, they're a really good price point. Now, there is a smaller Neewer USB ring light option. It sits around 10 inches in diameter. And it also comes inbuilt with a phone stand, which obviously you can either put in your phone, or a lot of times you can use them to put a webcam and sit them on top of them, which is what I used to actually do. Now, it is lower in quality than the rest of the lights I'm going to show you, but it is really affordable. And actually, the reviews are pretty good. Now, there are slightly more expensive options for ring lights, and you do pay for the quality, so it means that the quality is a little bit higher. One of them that I recommend is the Neewer 14-inch ring light, which I think is plenty big enough. I believe I used to have an 18-inch one, but I do think it was too big. Now, if you would prefer to get the larger ring light, like I said, it does come in the 18-inch option, and it can actually be really great if you're trying to light up a larger area. Now, if price is not a factor for you and you just want to get the best, Neewer do also do an advanced ring light, which comes with loads of extras, including a multi-light control. So you can actually set it up amongst like other studio lighting. I'll put all the information down below, but it is a really wonderful product and you just get everything. For everyone else, that's just trying to get a ring light, the 14-inch Neewer light is just what you need, and I think it'll be a fantastic option for you. Now, with most Neewer products, you can mess around with the mounting system, which we talked about at the beginning. You can set up the lights to actually mount on your desk if that's easier to save you space, or you can get tripods and C-clamps and all of that good stuff, and I'll put them down below if you want to have a look. Now, if you are looking for other light options, for example, wireless lights or portable lights, which can also be called selfie lights or like mini key lights, then I have some great options for you. These can be a fantastic choice, especially if you are traveling, but you're still having to take meetings or do trainings. You can do these easily in a hotel room, or maybe you also vlog. So I have 2 portable lights that I would highly recommend. One is a really, really good option, and it's super affordable, and the reviews are absolutely phenomenal. And it's from a brand called More Loco. It is a fantastic price. You can easily just clip it on to your phone and you're good to go. There is a slightly more expensive option from the 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗶 brand, which streamers know very, very well. It is a mini key light, and it looks really great. Like, I would even highly recommend that too. It would be very, very easy to travel with, and the quality of the light looks just great. Let's move on to RGB lights, which for those of you who don't know what RGB is, they are color lights. Now, RGB lights are easily my favorite subject because I believe they can completely transform the atmosphere of wherever you're trying to shoot a video or do any live streaming or training. If you are just starting out, you could literally just get one source of RGB lights, put it in your background or maybe on the floor and have it like beaming up and like hitting the wall. And it could change the whole hue and the whole look of your shot. I personally, because I am a little bit of an RGB fiend, I like to mix and match, as you can see. But if you're just looking just to get one RGB option, they are a great way to make a boring background look more professional and inviting. So if you've been around my channel long enough, you will have heard me talk about the 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗶 brand. I've had a lot of 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗶 products, and I believe that they are really affordable, but also really high quality. They are beautiful lights, and there are so many different options. Now, some of my favorites include the Aura Smart Lamp, the light strips, which you can also see. Now, these are the more premium strips, and I'll put exactly the strips that I use because I have tried 1 or 2 that were on a much cheaper end, and I found that they didn't last as long. The ones that I got, you just pay a little bit more, but you get like a plastic coating that goes over the lights, and I feel like it makes them a lot more robust. And I believe these lights are more vibrant too. So I would highly recommend these specific strip lights after having tried a lot of them. I also would very much recommend considering investing in the 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗶 floor LED lamps as well. They are beautiful and they can really transform a shot. I've also used their light bars, which I actually now have in my other room. They are beautiful to have, especially if you're trying to light up different corners of your background. Best thing about the 𝗟𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗶 products is you can use a really simple app to connect all the lights together and to create a lighting experience. Now, you're probably thinking, gosh, Tori, that sounds way too technical and like you have to be an expert. You really don't. You literally have to connect the lights to your phone, which is really easy, and just use their simple app. It is so easy, I promise you. Now, if you want just a really easy, simple product, just one, I would go for the LED floor lamp. Now, it is a little bit more expensive than some of the other products, but the reason why I recommend this one product, if you're just going to get just one, is because it really is a plug and play. Like, you just plug it in, you connect it to the app, and because this particular light is very high quality and it's quite large, it will transform your room. Now, if you wanted to add different elements, like what I have, you can get strip lights and light bars and smart lamp and all of that, and you can just go ham to make your background more interesting. And really, as a viewer, I value that so much. So I'll put all of those different products that I mentioned down below so you can get exactly what I have and what I recommend. If you're like freaked out by all the RGB options I just said, you could get 1 or 2 very cheap RGB like objects. For example, a fancy light bulb lamp, or some RGB hexagons, which you'll see a lot in streams and people who like game, or even this cult classic LED clock, which I will put down below. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, raise your hand. It's absolutely fine. Maybe you are sat there and you're like, Tori, I am 58 years old. I have absolutely no idea what you have been talking about. Like, what is RGB? What are like LED? Like, I have no idea. Let me encourage you with all of this to just experiment. That's what I did. I had no idea. Don't overthink it. Have fun with it. The more you have fun, the less like scary it's going to be. What you need a key light for your face, and make sure it is dimmable. You need a cool RGB object. It doesn't even have to be a whole RGB lighting situation like I have. It could just be one little object that will just make the background pop a little bit more. You'll also need a great mic, which I'm about to go into, a decent camera, and job's done. You just have to get used to like the lingo and what certain things mean. Just make it really simple and easy for yourself. If you're feeling lost, go on YouTube. Look at the many different ways that people light up their faces, their backgrounds, how they make their environment look. Because even if you are just running trainings from your home, you want your audience to be captivated. You want them to enjoy watching you as well as listening to you. And you have to make the effort to make the environment look great and to also help you pop to the viewer. So go on YouTube and research, go consume content. And if you see a video and you're like, I really like the way she looks in that, and I really like the background a lot, go and try and duplicate that. Just try it. Now we go on to microphones. Now, did you know that most people click off of a YouTube video because of poor sound? A lot of people assume they have to get their lighting and video quality right in order to retain their audience, because the aim of the game is to keep viewership. Or if you're a coach or a leader, the aim of the game is to have your clients keep coming back. So actually, sound is the most important factor in all of it. And this is why I would very much encourage you to invest in the area of sound. Sound is probably the last area I chose to invest in, and I deeply regret it. I have a lot of videos that the content was really great, the lighting looked good, but the sound was meh. The sound was pretty awful because I had to work with what I had. Get a decent microphone. Now, there are many different options when it comes to microphones. Here are some of my top picks at various price points. So I'm gonna just start with my top microphone, the one microphone to rule them all. I highly recommend this particular one, the Shure MV7 microphone. I love this mic. And if you want quality sound, this is it. This is by far the staple mic that most people use in podcasts and high quality videos. Price definitely reflects the quality, so it is definitely one of the more expensive options. However, I totally 1,000,000% believe that it's worth it. I personally recommend the XLR and USB one. It comes in white and also black. I think it might also come in gray, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, you could be like, hey, Tori, I went on Amazon and I found it cheaper. But if you look closely, you're probably looking at the MV7 that has just the XLR output, and it's not the XLR and USB. The reason why I don't recommend, especially if you are new, getting just the XLR mic is because you usually have to buy a sound mixer in order to connect the XLR. If you get the MV7 with the USB as well, you can literally connect this straight into your computer, which is what I'm doing right now. So that is the rationale between recommending the slightly more expensive option, because you do get the USB port. Now, if you're looking at a cheaper price point, you can get the Blue Yeti mic. Now, this mic delivers a really decent sound at a pretty cheap price. I actually used this Blue Yeti mic for streaming for a while, and it's actually really good. It's not cream of the crop. It's not the quality of this particular mic, but it does very, very, very well. It is a great mic. It's pretty simple and easy to use. Now, because you can just simply plug it in, there aren't a lot of options as to how you can tweak the sound. Now, it could be very, very useful if you are running trainings or meetings online. So there is the main Blue Yeti mic. So there is the main Blue Yeti mic, which is the OG, but they've also come out with a Blue Yeti Nano mic, which is slightly smaller. And both are around the same price point, so you just have to go and see what's going to work most for you and what you can afford. Now, another mic that is worth taking a look at is the Rode Pod mic. And this has been a cult favorite for many streamers, especially on Twitch, and it is regularly on offer on Amazon. Now, again, it is a bit of a cheaper price point than the Shure MV7, but this Rode mic is great quality. And like the Blue Yeti, it can be very much plug and play and just off you go. It sounds crisp straight out of the box. Now, if you're looking for portable or wireless mics, especially ones maybe you can plug straight into your phone, I actually saw a really good review on the DJI wireless mics. Now, it comes in either a set of one mic and one receiver or two mics and one receiver. Again, you plug the receiver straight into your phone and boom. Nolan Molt from Think Media actually did a fantastic review on this particular mic, which I will link down below. And if you're looking for a wireless mic or one you can use with your phone, this would be a fantastic option. I cannot cannot emphasize to you how vital good sound is. And good quality microphones tend to last a long time, so they are a good investment. So I would encourage you, if you're choosing for a particular area to spend more on, then you would do so in the sound. Because not everyone consumes by just watching, especially if you have podcasts or you're doing trainings. A lot of people will just listen, which is why sound is extremely easily the most important factor of content. Now, onto cameras. Now, camera options are very dependent as to what content you are doing. You'd be surprised how much your phone is capable of, especially if you have the more advanced like iPhones. Can't speak to Android because I've never had them, I've never used them, but I can speak on the quality of the recordings for like the iPhones, especially if you get the iPhone Pro series. So maybe you actually have the right camera that you can use like now. The 1080p resolution is the minimum resolution that you should be aiming for. Gone are the days of 720p. A lot of people record now in 4K. That is not an absolute must, but it is becoming more the norm. 1080 is the bare minimum, and actually a lot of streaming happens in 1080p, but I don't think it's going to be that long where it becomes 4K very, very soon. Now, if you're looking for something to host online meetings or trainings or coaching, there are really good affordable webcams, especially nowadays after everything that happened with the lockdown. Now, the Logitech C920 is pretty much a household name now. We've actually had this for quite a few years. Even when we were doing training in London, we used to use this. It is very iconic because it is such a good webcam. It offers 1080p resolution at 30 frames per second. It is also now much cheaper nowadays than it used to ever be. I've also heard outstanding reviews on the Anker 2K webcam, and this comes from my video expert friends themselves. With the Anker 2K webcam, it offers a way for you to change the viewpoint. So basically, I think you can change how wide your shot is if you want it to be more like narrowed in or like wider. You can stream or record in 2K. And both this one and also the Logitech C920, which I just spoke about, they have inbuilt microphones. So the sound is not bad. However, I still would highly recommend you taking your sound game up a notch and actually getting a separate microphone. There are other high quality webcams that have been made specifically for streaming, like the Logitech StreamCam, which streams or records in 60 FPS and also has autofocus. If you're looking for a more crispier video experience, I personally use the Sony a6400, and with it I use two different Sigma lenses. I use the 16mm as well as the 30mm. I'm currently using the 16 now because I want a bit of a wider shot to get more of my background in. But before, in our old house, I was using the 30mm, which is perfect, especially if you are streaming. Now, I've heard the best things about the Sony ZV-E10, and because of all the amazing things I've heard about it, I would love to bring that into the production that we have here as like a second angle. But if you are looking to invest in one good quality camera that is really affordable, I would not hesitate to look at the Sony ZV-E10 mirrorless camera. One of the advantages is that apparently it doesn't really overheat when you record in the 4K option. Now, the one downside I would say about the a6400 is if you are regularly shooting in 4K, you are going to have to change the battery out a lot, or you're going to have to allow your camera to cool down because it does heat up pretty quickly if you are recording in 4K. The ZV-E10 is much more compact. The a6400 is a little bit heavier. However, the EV-Z10 doesn't have the same expert quality in photography that the a6400 does, which is actually why I opted to get the a6400, because I wanted to use it not only for videos, but for photography. Both of these options can be used as webcams if that's what you want. But honestly, with the options we have for webcams nowadays, it's not really necessary. It's just like a little extra. I really, really hope this was useful for you, even if it just acted as a way to start the wheels in your head turning as to what's out there and maybe what you need. I hope you are inspired to maybe think more carefully of how you can create an environment where you can either stream or hold trainings or do coaching from your own home, because that's what I'm all about here. As someone who is chronically sick and having to be at home a lot, I am so passionate about people creating a space where they can create the content that they want from the comfort of their own home. Make sure you keep your eye out for the amazing deals that you can find on Amazon. Really pays to keep your eye out. If you are interested in hearing about ways that you can create a side hustle from home, especially if you are chronically sick or you just happen to be in a situation where you're having to work from home, then make sure you click on the video here.